Thank you. I rise on Thursday to speak about what has occurred in the Disability Matters debate or meeting this morning. We had 4 witnesses in that all had chronic illnesses, very distinct illnesses, but chronic illnesses nonetheless. And they talked about their experience of having to grapple with an illness that doesn't have a consultant in the state. So it may be new illness or in some ways that there isn't a specialist in the state. So they are charged. So while grappling with their own illness, they're charged with the requirement to then go from Billy to Jack for how it affects their nervous system, how it affects their various organs. They have to go to each of the individual specialists. So this morning, Leader, I'm calling for the creation of a one-stop shop, that if I go to and I can get information on some sort of specialist role for people with long-term disabilities in the state, that they can go to one place and get all of the information. We should have a bespoke template at this stage for illnesses that people can go to and be alleviated of the burden of having to find out absolutely everything themselves, including how they access benefits, how they access pensions, invalidity, appalling word, or disability benefits of some sort and supports. And this goes to the heart also of the cost of disability. And I know that you're scheduling a debate on that for us. But the very cost of disability is so prohibitive. So someone who is already ill and newly getting used to what that means for their lives, maybe having to work shorter hours, maybe having to not work and be able to work at all, is then having to go out and get consultations, go out to pay for various supports to alleviate their circumstances, and they have that added burden while their income is run. And lastly, and I'm sorry, thank you for indulging me, Caroline. And lastly, we have 2 things. We have that medical cards have to be reapplied for every year for someone who has a chronic illness. Now, if you have chronic illness, by its definition, it's not going to go away. Why do they have to reapply every year? And then secondly, the primary medical cert that a lot of people are being told they're not disabled enough. Now, seriously, if you are an amputee, if you're in it, and I'll stop now, but they're not disabled enough. That's really if you cannot access, you have to have an automatic car, you have to have specialist services like that. There should be a reappraisal of that list, and we haven't added to the illness list since 1972. 50 years, nearly 50 years. So there are things like that that need to be addressed urgently. Thank you, and thank you for your indulgence.